The Black National Anthem reportedly set to return before NFL games as the league looks to ramp up its social justice messaging.
Here to react is former professor at Princeton and Vanderbilt Universities, Dr. Carol Swain. Good morning to you. So how do you feel about this song being played before NFL games this coming season?
I think it unnecessarily politicizes a game that traditionally has brought Americans together, and that it represents a capitulation of the NFL to the most radical elements in our society. It is divisive, and it has no place in sports. And when you think about sports and football in particular, that has been an area for blacks where you had a meritocracy, that black players have been very successful, and this is something that will drive away supporters, and it does nothing, to unite our nation.
The commissioner, Roger Goodell, touches upon something that you just said. Let me read what he said. Without black players, there would be no National Football League, and the protests around the country are emblematic of the centuries of silence, inequality, and oppression of black players, coaches, fans, and staff. We are listening. I am listening, obviously. You referencing the first part of Goodell's statement, and then he goes on with that second part. On a net gain-loss basis, is this going to keep more fans in the NFL bubble, or is it going to drive fans away?
It would definitely drive fans away because Americans are sick of the racial agenda, and the NFL shows no appreciation for American history, which is also black history. We are an integral part of American history, and so it shows no recognition of that. And when you think about the national anthem, that is something that has united us. Our national motto is E pluribus unum, out of many one. And so we're supposed to unite rather than divide along racial lines. And when you think about sports and the military, those have been areas where blacks have excelled. And now with critical race theory, it has permeated every area of our society. All blacks, including the billionaires, think they're victims. It is ridiculous. And we don't need that in our society, and we need to punish them. Those who watch football need to turn off the television, stop supporting them until they wake up and support our nation.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Swain, I'm sure you heard about Davidson College. It's in North Carolina, and they're offering a class called #AbolishThePolice. And they have a course description on the class. It says it will enlist black politicians and feminist theories. It will enlist black political and feminist theories and social and political philosophies to critically examine and think through issues of race, criminalization, incarceration, police militarization, predictive policing, surveillance, and domestic security. So there is this class called #AbolishThePolice. What do you think?
Well, I'm not surprised because college campuses have offered courses like that for decades, but usually it's not about abolishing the police. And when you have critical theory, it's not about reforming our society, it's about taking down our society. And that's the syllabus for that course could have been written by Black Lives Matter, because when they first came on the scene, they were very open about abolishing institutions like prisons and police. And so they have an agenda, and they are indoctrinating certainly the young people, and then they go out in our society, they take jobs, right, and they harm us in our schools and corporations.
All right, Dr. Swain, we got to leave it there, but thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate
And that's the whole thing. Is critical race theory is nothing more than a theory, a hypothesis. And how long has it been measured and calculated? It's like climate change. And climate change is happening. We all know that. The thing is, how is it happening? Like, what's happening during the climate change? And that's where people, they separate, because I still believe that we're in the Ice Age. There's still remnants and grandfathers of the Ice Age. That's what the glaciers are. those are remnants. Those are from the Ice Age. That's a landlocked water. So the whole critical race theory, it's nothing more than a theory. And I can't stress that enough. And the fact is that there's a lot of people who understand that this is nothing more than a political weapon. And what it's doing is actually targeting families. Because it's like, okay, we get families to go along with this, then we can get them to go along with the next thing. And keep on breaking down the households, the neighborhoods, the collective. And, we all want to be individuals, but the thing is that most people, they're not individuals, they're codependent. They have friends and family that they rely upon. I'm independent upon my country. My country is providing me with the means. And we can get into all that. I've been into it, but just for the sake of the conversation, I'm alone. I do things. I'm motivated by my own political interests, and what's good for me is not good for someone else. But the thing is that there's always middle ground. It's diplomacy. And that's something that people do not know how to practice, is diplomacy. It's about greed. And people are not creative. They don't know how to get something besides, I don't want to, make it, just as blunt as this, but it's just an easy example, where it's like, people solve things with violence, with guns, intimidation. Instead of like, okay, for instance, with my life, okay, I can't go to school. I can do something else. I can figure this out. And here I am with acid reflux, freaking hiccuping, and moving on to something else. I didn't have my way, so I got to skip a school because that's what people think. And it's like, no, I'm way more creative than that. And unfortunately, like I said, people are not creative. So just, STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And it's not that you need to be a master of everything, but just having general knowledge of all those topics is very empowering, because it's provides a great way. It's great general knowledge. Take care of yourself. Be kind of stay strong. Love you all.
Appreciate your insight.